Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week, it's me and Connor.
Hi everyone, it's me. I'm back from a holiday in the garden.
As ever, we've got a jam-packed show, including the news that you can now ride smart trainers in Grand Theft Auto. Amazing. Also a new e-bike motor that you can attach to pretty much any bike. Your upgrades, our main talking point. If you could only ride one bike for the rest of your life, would it be lightweight or aero? We've got a poll as well. And also...
The bike vault! The bike vault! The bike vault. It's my first time on it as well. I'm nervous actually.
Let's go. This week, our main talking point is a game of Would You Rather. Now, would you rather have a top-end aero bike or a top-end climbing bike if you could only have one bike for the rest of your life? Well, we ran a poll in the app to see what you guys would think of this. Incidentally, if you haven't voted in the poll yet, you still can. But so far, the results of the poll are 37% wanted a lightweight bike, 28% wanted the aero, and 35% said they'd like a bike that does both, which is pretty interesting. But in this sadistic scenario that we're talking about right now, you can't have both. You can't have the both option.
Well, you kind of can, Ollie. Most new bikes these days combine light and aero. Just look at your Orbea Orca OMX behind you. Those lovely drop stays combining light and aero. I mean, practically every bike launched last year was slightly lightweight and aerodynamic.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but they aren't usually as light as a dedicated kind of weight weenie super light machine like the crazy Cannondale Super 6 Evo that we went to see ages ago that belonged to Steve and was 4.28 kilograms. Amazing. And they're never normally as aero as a full-on aero bike either.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Ollie, actually. Like a jack of all trades, but master of none. But the thing is, if you talk to any expert out there, mathematician, scientist, aerodynamicist, they're all gonna tell you the same thing. Aero trumps weight.
Physics tells us that even if you're riding a massively mountainous event or Grand Fondo or race, the aero bike will give you the fastest overall time. This is because the gains you make and the aerodynamic savings you make on downhills and on the flat more than outweigh the weight penalty, although that is only slight, on the climbs. Even if that weight is as much as a kilo, the aero bike still wins. And some of the added weight of an aero bike can be kind of offset when climbing as well, because you're still getting something back in terms of the improved aerodynamic efficiency at modest speeds, you know, around sort of 15, 16 kilometers an hour. It makes a difference. So if you want to go for an overall fastest time in an event, and that's your thing, aero bikes win.
Yeah, I agree with all that, Ollie, definitely. And to be honest, I'd go with the aero bike myself. Not only for the reason that it's going to be faster, but I'm taking into account my weight and that, well, I did used to have a lot of power. I still kind of have a bit of power because I'm so heavy. I'm going to have just naturally just going to have a bit more power than a smaller rider, and I'm setting myself up for a massive fall here in the comments, but I'm saying it. And for the reason of having more power, that's why I go for the aero bike. They are a little bit heavier, they have a bit more carbon around the bottom brackets and in places where there would be flex. A lightweight bike is obviously going to be designed to be as lightweight as possible. So in my experience, lightweight bikes aren't as stiff as an aerodynamic bike. One of my arguments was that it wouldn't be as comfortable and I wanted a comfortable bike for the rest of my lifetime. But I think if you can get an aero bike which runs 28mm tyres, go slightly less pressure, it negates that issue. I think those chunky 28mm tyres make up for the fact that it's a bit stiffer and you'll feel the bumps a bit more. So if I can get an aero bike with 28mm tyres, so it's a bit of a caveat, that's the one I go for the whole lifetime, Ollie.
Yeah, I get all that, but I'd go lightweight. And I'm not just saying that to play devil's advocate and be the opposite of what you've said. What I enjoy most when I'm cycling is riding up massive climbs and epic mountains, going as fast as I can possibly go, usually trying to beat my friends. And in that key instance, a lightweight bike has the advantage. And I feel that I'm prepared to be a bit slower the rest of the time by being slightly less aerodynamic if it means I can go as fast as possible when it really matters to me.
Well, unless you're going up a climb that's 5% in gradient or less, and in that case, aero will trump weight.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll just have to make sure that I'm only climbing on climbs that average gradients over 5%. It's not too difficult in Yorkshire, to be honest. Everything's 25%. But I mean, just the feeling of riding a lightweight bike, whenever you've got on a bike that's lighter than the bike you used to ride in, it feels amazing.
Okay, yeah, the problem is weight is tangible. You can't feel aerodynamics at, say, 15 or 16 kilometers an hour, when it is having an effect on your speed and performance. But you're just not getting that sort of like sensation of, oh, I think it's super lightweight on this climb. You know, it's like almost an invisible benefit.
One thing though, the lightweight bike does have a significant advantage over the aero bike when it comes to accelerating. And this is where the majority of the advantage usually lies. And as you say, you can really feel it. Once you've accelerated up to speed, physics tells us that the difference between a 6 kilogram bike and a 7 kilogram bike is actually very small, even on a climb, once you've got that momentum and that inertia. But it does mean that the lightweight bike can be at a bigger advantage on climbs where the gradient is inconsistent and you're constantly having to accelerate up steep ramps, or if you're going to be attacking a lot.
Also, total weight and size are worth considering too, I think. Say for instance, a 50 kilo rider gets given a 1 kilogram bit of extra weight. That's a significant change in their total weight. But in terms of percentage, say for a 90 kilogram rider, 1 kilogram just isn't as much. So it's worth bearing in mind. Also, smaller riders are already more aerodynamic than a bigger rider too.
Well, I guess you need all the help you can get, Connor.
Yeah, thanks mate, thanks for reminding me of that one.
Anytime, mate, anytime. But as a recently retired pro, I do have a question for you, which is, why do you think that we often see pros, and particularly Grand Tour contenders and team leaders, opt for the lightweight bike when the Aero one is also available? You know, and do you think that's because a lot of them aren't aware of the science of Aero, or do you think there's another reason?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, Ollie. I mean, I think I did notice riders definitely paying a lot more attention to aerodynamics in the last few years, but you still see sprinters sprinting with baggy jerseys on, for instance. You know, you're sprinting at over 70 kilometers an hour and they're not taking that into account, but they are like not eating as much food on the buffet because they want to be lightweight. So I think there's definitely a siding to lighter equipment and general sort of setup of a bike rather than the aerodynamics, if I'm honest. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just been ingrained in cycling culture from the very beginning that light is better. I think it's only recently that the aero benefits are coming into play and people are starting to acknowledge them in like a real broad sphere. And I mean, we are acknowledging them, but I mean like just being like, well, yeah, I'd choose aero over lightweight. And I also think it's just due to the nature of races as well. I think we're more scared of hills. I definitely was. And you're always thinking about it. Like if you're thinking a Grand Tour, you have a lot of 5,000 meter days and a lot of climbing when the race isn't even on. You're just like pushing the whole time on a climb, and you're always thinking of how to make that easier on yourself.
Well, thanks for that. I'm going lightweight. Connor's going aero. Let us know which one you'd rather have in the comments section down below. I think if we'd done this a few years ago, it would have been skewed way more in the lightweight camp, but I think more people are coming around to the idea of aero. But yeah, let us know in the comments and vote in the poll if you haven't already. Time now for Hot Tech. This week on Hot Tech, it's kind of like a gaming special inadvertently. I think we can say step aside Zwift, because there's a new kid in town. How would you like to ride your bike in Los Santos?
What's Los Santos? Los Santos?
Yes, Connor, Los Santos, the fictional virtual reality sandbox world of Grand Theft Auto 5. Thanks to a mod in the game called GT Bike 5, you can now connect your smart trainer to the game if you've got a PC, and then control a bike in-game using your smart trainer. Pretty awesome. There's also another one I found called GTA Cycle that does a similar thing. And I can't think of a better way to unwind after a hard day in Los Santos, you know, boosting cars and committing petty larceny and bank robberies and shootouts and drug deals and being chased by ridiculous numbers of police than just going for a nice bike ride. Sounds idyllic. When playing the game, the mod can switch auto steer mode on, which will, well, does what it says on the tin. It will steer you automatically so that you don't have to have a controller in hand to make sure you're going in a sensible direction. But there is an added element of realism that you don't get in Zwift, and that is it is possible to crash. Much like other platforms such as Zwift, once you finish your workout in Grand Theft Auto, the mod creates a fit file so you can upload your workout to third-party websites like Strava, and then it's actually geolocated like Strava is. So it's geolocated in the real world so that you get a real-life distance, and apparently it's on a little island that's near to the little Strava islands out in the middle of the sea as well. Cool. When you're playing the game, you get this cool little fake Garmin 1000 in the corner that has all your metrics on, so you know your speed and your power and your cadence and all that stuff. And also the resistance in your smart trainer will change depending on the surface you're riding on, the gradient and all those other things. But also something that we've not seen before, wind, because there's wind in Grand Theft Auto. So yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? But let us know what you think. Do you think Grand Theft Auto could be, well, like a viable alternative to Zwift? Mad.
However, if you would like to ride your bike virtually, but not actually have to ride your bike, well, this could be the new bit of tech news for you. Yep, the Tour de France have announced their new 2020 simulator game, and, well, includes an individual time trial mode. Out now on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Well, I'll tell you, this looks rather good if you ask me. The game features a position management mode, presumably meaning you can allow your avatar in the game to get more area. You can control their aerodynamics, tell them to get back in the bunch and shelter in the wheels better. You can also manage their pace. I'll tell you what, it almost looks as exciting as the real thing.
Yeah, almost.
The game is also said to have improved AI to make those attacks more realistic. It's also got a new interface so you can anticipate the course better and also the position of your competitors. Have you ever played it, Ollie?
No.
Well, yeah, I'd like to as well, if I'm honest, just so I can work out who the leader at Ineos actually is this year.
Staying with the indoor theme now, but also transitioning outdoors, is a new product from a company called Falco. Their eDrive system replaces your existing rear wheel with one that has a motor on the hub, and this can turn it into an e-bike with up to 28 mile an hour assistance and a 40 plus mile range. But that's not all. This system can also then be paired with a dumb or basic turbo trainer setup as your rear wheel to turn that into a sort of pseudo smart trainer that can be used to give you a more immersive experience in virtual training apps like Grand Theft Auto. In the past, whenever we've said virtual training apps, it's usually been followed by like Zwift. But going forwards, I think we're going to be saying like Grand Theft Auto. Anyway, I think it looks pretty cool, and I saw a similar device to this at the Taipei Bike Show last year, and I definitely think there's a market for it because it means that, you know, maybe if for whatever reason you want an e-bike, but you don't need to change your entire bike or buy a whole new bike. This is a kind of more cost-effective solution. And also the advantage is that you might want to continue riding your existing road bike if you've got a good one. You know, you like the saddle, you like the position, you like the way it handles, and a wheel like this won't change it too dramatically, I would have thought. But yeah, Interesting. More hot tech next week.
Cha-ching! Okay, so now it's time for screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades. Is that right? Screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades. I get it. Yeah, don't screw riding upgrades, buy upgrades. Yeah, that's a good one. Good one, that. I've been figuring out that for a while. I still couldn't get it. Anyway, we're moving on because we have a good battle today, and it's between GJ Cycle and J Salter. Thank you for sending in these submissions to the GCN app. So GJ Cycle has written, "Hey GCN, for my lockdown project, I bought a sandblasted 1991 Colnago Superframe from eBay. I did a home paint job with spray bike paint and then replaced the fork with a Columbus carbon fork, added Campag 10 speed, record chorus Centaur mix, and then threw on my Zip 404 303 combo. And a gold chain, of course, super light, and I love it. Cheers, Griff." Well, to me, this just looks spectacular. I love it. I mean, I love a steel bike as well, and anything retro. So, and a restoration project at that. I also love, you'll come to understand this, I love a horizontal top tube. I don't know what it is, but I just love the straight lines of a horizontal top tube and the thin tubing on a steel frame. I think that's just, this is just incredible for me. The only thing, if I was going to be nitpicky, he's used Campag for starters, which is fantastic, like A star there, but it's a little bit of a mix of different group set. It's a bit of a mix of record chorus and Centaur. If I was being nitpicky, I'd have liked it to be all one, but that's just me. I mean, I can't, I'm just picking holes here. And he's got the Goldie looking chain on as well, so spectacular. And the next one, to rival this, now I picked this one out because, well, I'm a dad. My son's just gone 1 year old and I'm always looking at ways to ride my bike with him. He said he didn't want to put a kid seat on one of his bikes. He set about making a dad bike, and I love the term dad bike. I've never really thought about the term dad bike, but now I feel I need to have a dad bike, if I'm honest. I need one. He got a 1985 Peugeot Tour 10 for 60 quid on eBay. And he's picked up all the original parts for it, including buckled wheels, Sash's Hooray group set with big chain rings, 5-speed cassette and free hub, down tube shifters. Did what he could with the old parts and spares, and it's an entire build coming in at around 130 quid, plus the kids seat, which is like, that's amazing, really. You buy tyres for 130 quid these days. And he's used upgrades from his spare box as well, with a 105 group set and front brake, Tiagra cranks, compact chain rings, Mavic Axiom wheels, Physic Arione Versa saddle, best saddle out there, my favourite as well. Bontrader, hard case, R2, swapped off the new bike, flat pedals with toe straps. Interesting, because to be honest, when you're riding with your kid, you're going to be wanting to use normal shoes, I think. You're going to be walking around a lot of changing nappies, a lot of feeding bits of snacks and things up the back of the bike when you're going to be wanting to stop for a bit, take photos. So flat pedals is probably a bit more practical. And the fact he's put the toe straps on, it negates the fact that it's a flat pedaled bike. It looks blinging again. So fair play there. He's going to be cruising around town with his son in a lot more style than I am at the moment on Stacey's bike, which is too small for me. Brilliant, brilliant entry, but who's it going to be? It's up to you guys to decide. Vote in the app, and the winner is going to get a cap. So get voting, folks. I'm interested to see which one takes this, I think. Right, now it's time for the bike fault, where I judge whether your uploads to the GCN bike fault section of the GCN app are a nice or a super nice. And it's my first go on this, so, well, I brought my own bell because I've heard I need one. Ring for a hug? No? Oh, okay, right, we'll carry on. I'm not gonna be a pushover. I'm not gonna be a pushover. There's a lot of nice bikes out there, but to be a super nice, that's a rare occurrence. That's a big ask. So we motor on and we'll see how it goes. But these are four whoppers, absolute whoppers. And we're starting off with FN first. And thanks for the submission here, because this is great. It's a retro one. I'm gonna admit, first off, I'm gonna be a sucker for any retro uploads. This is a Tomasini 1991 Super Prestige. And I'll read you what he's written into us. He was inspired to put his old bike out of the attic and polish it up. After new tyres, saddle, pedals and bar tape, I was able to ride and experience once again that steel is real. Well, FN first, I agree with you, steel is definitely real and that bike is a real looker. I'm going to point out a few things I like on it. Firstly, the low profile rims, they just look amazing I think on a road bike. The fact that it's painted red with you have the chrome on the rear stay, blinging, absolutely amazing. And also the fact that everything on it is Campagnolo. You can't really argue with that, to be honest. Also, I like the pump. It's always practical to have the pump on the frame, if you ask me. And especially one that fits so easily on the top tube like that. And the fact that it's a chrome one, matching the rear stays, that is nice. I'm finding it hard to fault it. I know I said I'd be judge, jury and executioner, but I'm doing it. That's a super nice. Congratulations, Finn First. That is a spectacular looking bike. Oh, it's giving me envy, to be honest. I'm gonna have to start making one myself. I have to get on this. It's time for my retro bike build to begin. Okay, on to the next one. Anyway, that was first super nice of the show. Next one is from Ben Upton 1. Thank you for this. And he is in the Hills and Quarries in Shropshire, UK here. And it's his Specialised Venge, 2016 model with Zip 404 wheels. Yeah, so that's a nice looking bike, isn't it? But I'm gonna say up front here, I'm sorry, but it's not gonna be a super nice. So it's a nice from me. So it's a lovely bike, Ben. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful bike. But there's a few things I'm gonna critique here. So, first off, I don't want to niggle, I don't want to put words in your head or get you going down the wrong road here, but I think the saddle's pointing a little bit down. I think, okay? And we can't be having super nice bikes with saddles pointing down. That's for GTN. Joke, sorry guys, I didn't mean to rub that one in, sorry. Okay, but that's not all. I think, I'm looking here now, mismatching biddens. Also, you're not in the big ring. I mean, look, I know I'm new to GCN and I haven't quite got the whole taking a photo of a bike thing down just yet, and I have made a few mistakes of my own, but I know if you're gonna photo a bike, it's gotta be in the big ring. It can't be in the little one at the front and the big at the back. Blinging bike, nice area, but no, sorry, it's the nice from me. Come back with when you got your chain in the right place. Moving on. Kulanga, I think that's it. Thanks for sending this one in. And this is Seal Beach in California. COVID solo ride before the beach restrictions were lifted. 20-mile round trip on this comfy steel frame. The bike's a Ritchie Road Logic 2.0, 2017 model. Drivetrain Shimano 105, wheels Rolf Primer Arius 4. And I'm never one that's going to be snobby in any way about not using the top spec group sets, because to be honest, 105 on this bike looks just amazing, and it's good value for money, it does the job, and I love this bike. I think it's brilliant in every way. Steel again, steel, a big submission, and for me, I'm always going to be voting up steel. I love the wheels as well. Look at the spoke pattern on those wheels. Perfect. I like the thin rear stays. Something about thin rear stays that just do it for me. So I'm doing it. Super nice. I've rung it in. The second super nice of the show. Beautiful. Thanks for that submission. Love a Ritchie frame as well. Okay, right, final one now from Alex Walk. Thanks for this again. This is a Cannondale Super 6 Black Ink. 2015 model. Drivetrain is Shimano Dura-Ace Di2. So we're going top spec here as well on the drivetrain. Wheels are Roval Rapid CLX. 60s on the back and 40s on the front. And if you look at this, that's a nice bike. I mean, that's top spec, that. I love that frame as well. You can't beat You can't be all black with a bit of gold on the top tube that just sets it off, and it goes with the tan wall tyres, doesn't it? Spectacular bike, spectacular. I also love how you've got your light set up here. I love a smart light setup when there's not all those like zip ties or like big chunky things on the back, and it's easy to take your lights off and charge them. So for me, that's brilliant. But I've just noticed something. You haven't got it in the biggie smalls, so it can't be a super nice for that reason. I'm sorry, I know, but them the rules, Alex. And it's a nice bike as well. You got Vittoria Corsas on as well. Oh, Vittoria Corsa tight. You can't beat them really. They look tan walled Vittoria Corsas. Oh, sorry though, changing the wrong place. So it's a nice but beautiful bike, and thanks for sending it in. And on that note, that's all from Bike Vault. Check in next week, see what we've got on the uploads, and more importantly, get your uploads in on the GCN app, and we'll see if they can make it past my very tough, stringent measures, which have, to be honest, not been that tough because I've already given 2 super nices in the first show. But we'll see. Get them in, and maybe we'll have 4 super nices next week. But I'm not going to be a pushover. Don't be thinking I'm going to be a pushover.
Thanks for the Bike Vault, Connor. Always a pleasure. And unfortunately, that means it's the end of this week's show. So if you've enjoyed it and you like what we do and would like to support the channel, then please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like to, get one of the finest libation receptacles available to humanity, then they're available in the GCN shop, as are amazing t-shirts. But now I'm gonna get on eBay shopping, because I need to find some tri-bars for my TT bike on a budget build series. Otherwise I won't be able to film the next episode. So I better crack on. Also, got to remember to water that plant. Oh, I've only got so much magic. All right. See you next time.